Hey everyone, it's me Holly, welcome back to another video. In today's video I am going to be sitting down having a chat with you guys about, there's one main topic that I'm going to focus on today, which is social anxiety and how to kind of deal with it and stuff like that. But in the first half of this video I am also going to give a little update about myself and just things like that. But yeah, without any more rambling, which I'm going to do a lot more of that today, let's just get into it. Recently, I've been doing so good, like with my mental health and everything like that. Like, I don't know, it's just a point in my life where obviously there's bad days and there's good days and stuff like that, but I'm just at peace at the moment and just taking things as they come, and it's just such like a nice feeling. The one thing that has been stressing me out recently is grades and school, because I have been doing some end topic and mock exams for psychology, and that was very, sorry, I'm really like disorientated right now. I don't know if this is old water. Ugh. I'm back. What was I saying? Obviously recently I've been doing mock exams because it's the end of the year and they have been quite stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know why. I think it's because I obviously want to do really well, and because these are mock exams and I'm in year 12, next year they're going to be used on UCAS, which if you don't know is like something that you apply to each uni with and they look at what your predicted grades are. I know I've done good, but there's this feeling, I don't know if anyone else can relate, after an exam, like, so sorry, just hit the mic. After an exam, I just cannot get it out of my head. I know I know with myself that I've got to give myself about 2 to 3 days after doing an assessment to actually find peace and be chill about it. And then that all comes back up again when we go through it. And that lasts another 2 to 3 days, and then after that I can forget about it. Honestly, the day after I did the exam, I don't know why, it just felt like it wasn't like something that was constantly in my head, but it was just a feeling that I had in my stomach, and it was just like this very and it felt like a lot of anticipation. I don't know what feeling that is, just like a lot of stress and just feeling like, you know, on edge, like. But yeah, if anyone else can relate to that feeling of stress after an exam, let me know. Let me tell you what I've recently been enjoying and liking. So I've recently started watching Never Have I Ever, which I don't know if any of you guys have watched, but like, I don't know, it's cringe, but it's a good cringe. And it is cringe, but it's so good, and I really recommend it. If you've been thinking like, oh, it's so cringe and can't be bothered to watch it, I would just go for it. Music, I just love music. I've recently been using, obviously, what I got for my birthday, piano, the little keyboard thing, made a cute little chorus of a song. I don't know when I'm going to actually fully make one of my songs a reality. Like, I don't know, I think I'm scared to overplay a song, because the songs I've made at the moment, I love them with my heart. But if I was to try and make it into a song and I hear it over and over and over again, I feel like it would get to the point where I'm fed up of it, and I don't want that. So I'm kind of steering clear of that at the moment. But one day it will happen. Also, the weather in the UK. I mean, we know it's summer, but like, gosh, I'm someone who, when it's winter, I want the summer, but when it's summer, I want the winter. I will always prefer spring weather, because it's just a nice mix. I cannot deal with it being too hot. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but like, when it's too hot, I lose all motivation. I can't do anything. I am so dramatic. I'm out there like, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm not gonna die, but it feels that way. And then in the cold, I'm like, oh, shivering. Like, save me. I'm gonna freeze to death. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm dramatic. But I feel like that's fine. Do you know what? Everyone's different, and I choose the dramatic life. The overreacting life. Just seen a little spider on my drawer. Absolutely gonna leave it be. It's very cute. That's the first time I've looked at a spider and thought, you know what, you can stay. That's a weird feeling. Maybe I've just overcome a phobia. No, definitely not a phobia. But also, with phobias, does anyone else feel like they just So I feel like I fear a lot of things, but I don't have a very predominant phobia. Like, there's nothing that if I saw it, I'd be like absolutely on the floor, rolling, running, I don't know. Like, and also I feel like with having like, I don't know, some like type of social anxiety, like if I was to ever be confronted, for example, there was this point in my life where I hated birds because these birds chased me. Petrifying, I've got to be honest. Having anything chase you is the scariest thing. But these like birds, they like run after me, and I literally went in my hand. I had the freeze reaction. Actually, I had the run reaction. Then when I realised they were faster than me, I had to stop and allow them to just be my... I don't know how I got out of that situation. They were all around my feet going... because I was too excited to eat my food. So basically, we were heading towards the benches in the park, and I was so ready to have my like French stick. So I was sprinting to the table, and these birds thought they would come with me. Anyway, just think, right, I have a fear of birds, right? But I tell you now, if I'm in like a school environment and a bird was walking at me, there's no way I'm making a scene. There's no way, like, even if I felt it deep within, even if I felt the need to run, if I felt the need to scream, I'm not doing it because I'm not embarrassing myself in front of people. There's no way, like, I'm not doing that. We need to talk about embarrassment as well, because, like, why is embarrassment just the worst emotion? Like, I don't care. Like, I'll be sad. I'll be, like, literally, just, you know what? I'd take having to spend a whole day out in the sun to not feel embarrassed ever again. Why is it the worst thing? Because I tell you now, why am I sitting in my bed late at night, having a nice snooze, and then all of a sudden the most gut-wrenching, aggressive, craziest, embarrassing story just floats to the top of my head? Where did it even come from? There's nothing that it would have, like, triggered my memory. It just is there, and then I'm sitting there thinking, that is the end of my life. Like, honestly, why am I thinking of this? That's the end. Like, I don't think I can, like, the fact that that was an experience I had and people saw that, no, that's not for me. I can't even, like, right now, I think I've probably repressed a lot of embarrassing memories because I can't think of any, but, like, I'm a person who is just awkward and embarrassing. Like, anything I do just is embarrassing. Like, I try to go with this, like, feeling of, you know, take anything as it comes. Like, recently I've been trying to, like, get over myself and actually do things that I want to do and not be embarrassed about it. But tell me why I'm just awkward. Like, I will literally go anywhere and I will do anything, and it's just 10 times more embarrassing. Like, I don't get how people can just do something and make it look natural. Like, I just think I'm very much, just anything I do, even if I've done it every single day of my life, I just seem so out of my comfort space. So this is gonna, like, I reckon someone can relate to this, so I'm gonna just say it anyway. I'm a very, like, introverted person. I don't like to, like, talk to many people. Like, I just feel happy with who I know, and I prefer to stay indoors, be alone, but then I have these bursts of wanting to speak to people, and then I just want to come back home. You know what I mean? Like, very much introverted. Wait, where was I going with this? I love to be alone. I love to be independent. But tell me, I remember what I was saying now. But tell me why it comes to, like, doing things on my own out in public, I just need someone with me. Like, I will... Actually, this is a good thing, because in school, whenever I'd have to walk to lesson, in year 11, I didn't really, like, have many close friends. You know, people would just tag along with other people and just make conversation. I just couldn't be bothered for that, so I would just have to be alone because I couldn't deal with, like, small talk. That is not for me. Like, I just think I've missed a lesson on communication at some point in my life, because I don't know what to say to people. I just think it's just because I don't really want to talk to them, so it's like, I don't have anything to say, if you get what I mean. I don't know. Does that sound a bit weird? But, like, that's why I don't really like just tagging along with people, because it's just going to cause more stress than it needs to. Anyway, so I would tend to just walk around alone until I got close with my friend Dara in year 11. And then I actually had a friend who I'd feel comfortable walking around with, and it was great. But it was like, I would definitely rather be on my own in that situation, but I felt awkward being alone because I felt like I didn't know where I was going, so I wanted to follow people. So I'd literally, this sounds like I'm stalking them, but it's literally not. I'm literally just trying to walk to lesson. I'd make sure I was like behind someone that I knew was going the same place as me, and I'd kind of like hang back, but I'd be like following them low key. Like, that sounds a bit crazy, but like, I don't know. I would always stress that I was getting things wrong, even though I'd been to the same lesson every single day of the week. Do you know what I mean? Like, crazy stuff. This is a good segue because it's actually bringing up so many memories of year 11. Let me talk about the year 11 because that was a wild year for me. That was a wild year. I feel like every other year in school was just I don't know. Let's go through this. Year 7 was a weird one because I was defo. I've never said that in person, I don't think. Definitely. I was definitely that kid that shushed everyone in class. Like, I don't know why I thought I was that bold. Like, why did I go into year 7 and become bold? Going, like, shush to people in class, like, shut up. Like, you can, like, I'll accept being called a teacher's pet in that moment because even the teachers, I probably shushed the teachers. Like, maybe I just like silence and I was like, maybe it was because I was overwhelmed by all the noise. Okay. Too much is happening right now in my brain. But, like, I would literally like shush people in class. Like, I remember doing it. I don't know why. And oh my god, I remember when someone took my pencil once in class, but it was like it was like a kind of bendy one, but not really. And they just snapped it. So I went after class to tell the teacher. He didn't care. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how dare you snap my pencil and then no one's going to do anything about it? Who do you think you are? But, so year 7 was a wild one. I don't really know what happened there. But then year 8, I don't like year 8. Just like in my head it doesn't seem right, but I have no memories. I actually don't think I've got any memories of year 8. Like, I just can't think of anything. I do actually have a memory, but I just can't say it. That's a crazy one. Oh my god, I'm going to tell my friend after this. Oh my god, this is great. I actually think year 8 was okay. It was quite like, I found my friendship group and I was feeling good. Year 9, that was kind of lockdown moment. You know what I mean? Like, I think I became friends with Amy and Paris in that year. Or maybe it was the end of year 8. But it was lockdown time. It wasn't great, obviously. But to be honest, like, I have no memories from lockdown either. I have very, like, vague memories. One is that every single day my family would play basketball out in the garden. Every single day without fail. And my brother felt... So in my garden, we have, like, 3, like, levels, because it's kind of on a hill, but, like, it's cool, I think. So my brother was on the 2nd level, and there's kind of a, like, it's not a big drop, but it's a drop down to the, like, bottom. And bear in mind, at the bottom, there's, like, around the sides, there's, like, a raised bit with a bit of pebbles, and then just, like, a tiny bit lower than that, there's grass. I turned around once, and then literally for a couple of seconds, and then suddenly my brother's on the floor, on the bottom level, in the grass. I can't lie, I laughed a bit too much at that. Went on, what else did we do in lockdown? Just, like, I literally just did stuff online. I think I did barely ever any work, but I would do work every day, right? But I wouldn't do a lot. And then in the 2nd lockdown, they actually did Teams and got us online doing it, which, to be honest, if you're thinking you're at home every single day in the 1st lockdown, how didn't you introduce Teams sooner? Do you know what I mean? Like, how didn't you make that sooner? But anyway, in the 2nd lockdown, we did Teams. And I kind of liked that in a way. I liked putting the video on and then just doing my own thing. But also, I did the work. Like, I'm not even going to lie, I did the work. I'm goody two-shoes in that way. But that was year 10, and then we actually went back to school in year 10. Yes, we did. And we had, like, separated bubbles. That was crazy. But I actually really loved year 10. I actually would do a lot to go back to there. Year 10 was great. Year 10 was actually a vibe. And then year 11. Honestly, I think out of all those years, okay, year 7 is probably worse, but year 11 would come 2nd. But the thing is, like, I think I have great memories from year 11, and I'm, like, I was going to say I miss everyone from year 11, but I don't. But, like, most people, like, even if there's someone, like, I didn't really know, like, you know what, it's weird not seeing them about. But year 11 was awful, and I mean awful for my, like, social abilities. I swear, like, I must have gone through something, because I could not socialise in that year. I had my friends Amy and Paris, but they were in the other half of the year to me, because there was two halves of the year. And so in my year, like, I had people I knew, but, like, I don't think I had many friends in my year. Like, I knew people, and I'm gonna say, like, I don't really know how to class someone as a friend. Like, I feel like I have to be, I don't know, be closer to them. Like, people probably class more people that they've probably, like, spoken to a couple times as their friend. In my year, like, I knew people, obviously, we'd literally been in the same classes for, like, I don't know how many years. But I just didn't talk to many people. I don't know. I don't even know why, because, like, I'm thinking now, there must have been people in my class that I knew. I just didn't, okay, I have memories, and these are really, really actually quite upsetting. I have memories of, like, so we have to do line-up at my school, which, honestly, absolutely mental. So we would line up every morning, and I remember being in my line-up, and I'd have people around me which I knew. And, like, in year 10, like, I would talk to people quite a lot, because the people I'd sit next to, I talked to, but then my teacher moved, like, everyone around, so then I didn't really want to speak to the person that was next to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I became quite unfamiliar. In line up, and, like, I knew everyone in my class, like, I had friends, like, I would literally have probably been friends with these people my whole time at school. Like, I had a good class, but every single time, you know that feeling when, like, you're kind of in a conversation, but, like, most of the time I'm, like, spectating a conversation. Like, I'm kind of behind someone in the line, and I'll hear their conversation, and then I'll have something that's really good and I should say, and I should cut in and just go for it. But then I'd stop and think, oh my god, no, don't say that. And then I think, no, let's go for it. And then the time had just passed. Do you know what I mean? And I could never say anything. And that was literally every single time, every single day. And it was tiring, because I would literally want to talk to these people, and, like, I probably could have made closer friends, I guess. But, like, it hasn't really impacted my life that greatly in who I'm friends with, because, to be honest, I probably wouldn't be that close to them now anyway. But I could have had more peaceful days if I'd just gone for it, because I feel like if you don't do something for so long, then it just becomes weird if you did do it. So, like, for me, like, on one of, like, say the first or second week, if I had started to, you know, make a little bit more conversation, then it would have seemed normal, and I knew it would be alright if I did that, because I'd feel comfortable knowing that when I did it before, it was good. Because once you have a bad experience when you've done something, it immediately puts me off. Like, for example, if I was to, like, say an answer in class, and the teacher went, no, that's wrong, I would never put my hand up again. Swear on my life, I'm never doing it again. There's no way you could make me put my hand up again, just because of that one time. And then, maybe one day when I'm feeling a bit more confident, and I go, like, I do say the right answer, and they said, oh, that's great, well done, I'm more likely to put my hand up again. Do you know what I mean? Which, this is a topic that I'm going to circle back to after I finish this one. But, like, I guess every single day when I didn't say something, it would have just been in my head. This was all in my head, all my bad thoughts. Because in real life, like, no one probably cared. But if I was to have said something, like, after being at school for a couple of terms and not talking to hardly anyone, if I was to suddenly become confident and talk to people, that just felt weird. Like, I feel like someone would think, oh, are you okay? Even though they wouldn't care. Like, now I think in the sixth form, I'm a lot more confident. I don't really care what people say or do or think. Like, obviously, if something embarrassing happens, I'm gonna care. But just people's opinion on me used to matter so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to constantly be thinking, like, do you think they like me? Or, like, you know, I'm not someone who would, like, change myself to be liked by people, but I would just hope that they just liked me as I am, and then I'd always feel like they probably didn't. But now I just don't really care. Like, you can or you can't. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna live my life. Like, I don't know. I guess it's because, like, I've got greater things to worry about than other people. When it came to, like, the last term of year 11, that's when I actually began to not care as much, because I knew I'd be going. And that was, like, a weird thing, because it's like this whole time I could have just been living my life, having fun, talking to people, but instead I just chose to be silent. And I just don't know, it's just the constant thought that if I was to say something and someone was to laugh at it, I would never speak again. Like, I would be silent forever. But like, no one, the thing is, advice to you if you're feeling the same way, no one ever thinks the way that you are thinking about yourself. You are thinking the worst things about yourself. No one has thought that way. And if they had, then they're just insecure about themselves. Don't worry about that, because they've got their own thing going on. But no one who is a nice, decent person is going to care what you do, if you get what I mean. Like, this is what I'm implementing into my life right now, my motivational speeches. If you think about it, like, if you were to do something embarrassing, you know, for example, if you were to like say a joke and it didn't land and like people didn't laugh, that is the worst feeling. Personally, as someone who tries to be funny, that is painful. But like, you've got to think, like, those people are going to hear the joke, think, oh, that's not really funny, but like, we're going to move on. Like, someone might fake laugh and then it's done. They might think about it later that night, think, oh, that was a really weird joke. But that's just the worst case scenario. They're not going to think about that in a day's time, you know? Definitely not in a week's time, but like in a day's time, they're probably not even going to remember that, because you're going to have had more conversations since then where you might have actually upped your game and become like comedy legend, and then suddenly there's no need to even worry about that time that you said a joke that wasn't even funny, because you know, you can't always be funny. Do you know what I mean? You can't always be great. You can't always be on your A game. But yeah. Also, can I just, a little bit of a relaxing segment. Got this water today. Tell me why it says, okay, Acti pH, alkaline ionized water, charge up. Charge up. Is it telling me that drinking this water is going to literally change my brain waves and make me, I don't know. I don't know what pH 9 means, because I swear water's like neutral, isn't it? Like, what, 7 is 7 neutral? I got a 7 in science, so let's just say that's correct. But anyway, I can't lie, when I drank it kind of felt so sharp, and like, it did get to me a little bit. Like, I think it's quite incredible. I don't even know what it did. What? Sodium? Okay. Let's just hope that's okay. Praying. I'm sure it is. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about class and like school and like cold calling. So my camera just stopped recording. I think maybe it got a bit fed up of how long I was talking for, which is a little bit rude, but I'm going to allow it and start a new clip. But anyway, so I was talking about cold calling. Cold calling. This is literally the bane of my life. But let me just explain. So in class, like, I'm quiet. I just don't feel the need to talk. And like, it's just natural. Like, I don't feel the need to talk. Some people talk a lot if they feel like it, but like, I just feel like I'll be quiet and just do my work. Like, it's all, I guess I just am naturally a quiet person. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I saw a TikTok comment which said, did I say that correctly? I saw a TikTok comment which was like, I'm tired of people trying to make quiet people loud, or something like that. And it really just altered my brain chemistry. I can't find the quote, but it was in TikTok comment section, and it really altered my brain chemistry. Like, that quote explained everything. Because I feel like in schools and stuff, they don't want people being too loud, don't get me wrong. Like, they despise people that are too vocal, but then if you're too quiet, they want you to talk. Do you know what I mean? And like, as someone who is quiet, and you watching this, you might be quiet, you might be more outgoing, you know, people have different personalities, but just say that if you are watching this and you're quiet, people that are quiet, we like being quiet because that's literally just how we feel we need to be. Like, it's just how we are. Like, I don't feel the need to just over talk. I will wait and do that with my friends. and I'll save my energy for when I actually have things to talk about. Because in class, like, I've got to be honest, there's nothing of great value I could say that would impact anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for me to talk. But I feel like, especially in my, like, year 11 classes with, like, a big classroom, because now we're in kind of smaller classrooms, but in a big classroom, like, there would always be, like, can you read out this paragraph? And you would have people like, I don't really want to, but then they were forced to. Like, I don't get it, because I feel as someone who has gone through secondary school, I just, like, obviously I know with teachers, they don't want to be the only one talking, and they want other people to get involved. But I think a way you get people involved is to make them comfortable. Like, I know there's been countless lessons that I've just never wanted to go back to because of being basically made to speak in front of the class. Like, yeah, I feel like there's this whole thing where it's like, oh, you should just feel comfortable because this is your class you've been with this whole time, and, like, you know, they're not going to judge you. But it's just the fact that if I was to read, right, let me pretend this is a little thing. If I was told to, like, read out first paragraph, I'm telling you now, I'm going to mumble and stutter and ruin about 10 of those words and then feel embarrassed about myself for the rest of the day. And that's just not good for your health, your mental health. Like, it's just something that I'm always going to feel passionate about, because I get that you've got to make people get involved and engage in your lesson, but there's just ways to go about it that just seems so much better, in my opinion. It's hard to put without feeling like I'm attacking teachers, because I do respect them a lot, and I think that there's so many ways to look at this, because obviously I can understand that it's very I don't know, feels a bit annoying when you're the only one talking and you're the only one trying to get people involved, if you get what I mean. And if you've got a class of people who, I don't know, just don't say anything, then you might feel a bit, you know, alone. I don't know. But, like, for me, having to speak out in a lesson, it's only good and it's only okay if I'm comfortable in the class. And you've got to put down, like, a comfortable base for that to even happen. And a lot of my secondary school classes, there was barely any comfortability, so I just felt awful having to speak in front of the class, especially if you don't know the answer. Or, like, a main thing for me is that I could sit down and answer a test paper and get every question right, but if you were to ask me those questions out loud in front of a class, I can't tell you any of them. I don't know, it's something about how my brain works, but, like, also, if I just hear words being said at me, I can't process them the same way as I can process them reading them. So, like, if a teacher was to say to me, what's this? The likelihood is my brain is now thinking, oh my god, everyone in the class is now going to listen to you. Oh my god, you're going to embarrass yourself. Oh my god, I don't know the answer at the moment. Okay, let's actually try and think about the answer and try and find it somewhere in our brain. I can't think of the answer because I'm now overthinking all these other things that I've just said, and I am having basically mental overload, and I actually have some sort of answer, but I don't know if it's correct. And on the slim chance I've actually got an answer prepared, I'm thinking it's definitely wrong and I can't say it. That's literally what goes through my head anytime a teacher asks me to answer a question. Like, with psychology now, like, I feel like it kind of depends, because most of the time I know the answer, but it's just even more embarrassing if I don't, because in my head I feel like I'm getting good grades, so if I don't know the answer out loud, they're gonna just think I'm terrible. So, like, or, like, I don't know, but, like, I don't know why I'm slapping my knee. But yeah, it's just, like, that's why I'm not a big fan of trying to, that's why I love the quote so much, because don't make quiet people speak if they don't want to. I get trying to push people out of their comfort zone, but some people are naturally quiet, and that's just how they are. Making them speak isn't going to change their whole lifestyle and personality, and they're not going to suddenly be the most confident out there person in the world, because that's just not part of who they are. And I just think secondary school especially tries to create the same sort of person. The confident person who isn't too loud and annoying, but is loud enough to answer questions in class, but also, like, you know, isn't quiet. And there's no way to find a balance between that, because everyone's different, and there's literally no perfect person like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too many things that they don't want. But, like, just take people as they come. And I don't know, maybe let me think of how I would deal with this in a class, because I honestly don't know. But I tell you now, anytime my teacher says it's a cold call, I'm sorry, I'm dead inside. I'm panicking. I did actually have a really bad experience with a lesson, which honestly altered my brain chemistry. I don't even know what occurred that day, where everything just got loud and too much, and just too many questions fired everywhere, too much, I don't know, talking, and like getting people to talk. Like, oh my god, it was literally the worst thing. And I remember sitting there and just being in kind of a shock mode, where I'm just like, what's occurring right now? But also, like, I don't really get, like, I get trying to involve people in the class, but if someone doesn't really want to, and like, different people have different days where maybe they're a bit more, like, you know, happy, but then if someone's having like a bad day and you're trying to, like, you know, push them to do something, like, I just don't think that's, because like people aren't always going to be happy, and especially when teachers like tell someone off for like having an off day, because it's just like, I'm sure they don't want to act like that right now. They're just in a moment where they literally, that's how they're feeling, and they have to get it out some way. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's my stress at school situation. I feel like outside of school, I've not got too much stress. I think a lot of the time when I'm with people that I'm comfortable with, I absolutely flourish. Like, I am confident with a capital C. But like, it just depends, because if you have people around you who you know are going to back you up, then I don't know, for me, I feel on top of the world. There are things like, for example, I love to sing, I love to act, and I would love to be a part of like an acting class. But for me right now, if I was to go along to one, that is embarrassment waiting to happen. I just feel like, you know, people always say follow your dreams. I just feel like if I followed my dreams, it would just lead me to a path of despair. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would be embarrassed for the rest of my life. Even though I'm good at singing, I'm hopefully good at acting, I don't know, and I love theatre and musicals and plays and everything like that. I can't even fathom going to a club like that. I do piano lessons, but it's just because it's me and my piano teacher, and that's it, and it's great. But going into a new environment on my own to kind of do something that I should be good at in front of people, I just feel like that's setting me up for failure. But I feel like that's my next step. If I was to give myself a next step, it would be to just go for it and do something like that. But I feel like when I go to university, there's like those society things, I don't know what they're called. Maybe they'll have like an acting society, which I can be a part of, or a singing club that I can be a part of. Yeah, sorry for the lack of videos. Last week I didn't post one because I genuinely forgot. Tell me why I was sitting in my room Monday 5 p.m. with no stress. I was thinking, what's going on? Like, surely something should have happened today. Oh my god, I forgot to make a video. The stress was real. I think my next video, I don't know when I'm going to post my sixth form advice video, because I feel like if it comes too soon, then the right people aren't going to see it or something. Like, I don't know. I'm a bit stressed about that. I want to make sure it's the right thing. I might try and do a day in my life, but I'm also really, like, if I was to film at school, I just feel like I would embarrass myself. So, can't do that. But yeah, I'll try and make a video for next week. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If anything that I've said sounds like you and you want to talk about it, or anything that you just want to say in general, leave them in the comment section down below. If you've got any Q&A questions to give me, put them in the comments, because I'm trying to gather loads of them to put into a massive video. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!